A few days ago, I watched the Masters of the Universe movie as a teenage girl that never grew up with He-Man, probably because when the original cartoon came out, I wasn't even born yet, with the only things I grew up with related to He-Man being that one meme where He-Man sings behind a pride flag, and like 5 seconds of She-Ra and the Princess of Power. Outside of that, I did not care about He-Man, and I mean, why would I be into He-Man? Not only is it just not my thing, but it also has ridiculous names for some of its characters. Like, are you kidding me? He-Man? Evelyn? I mean, these names are ridiculous. At this point, you should probably just name one of your characters Goatman or something. And it always seemed like something that I would just never be into. And not only did I originally think that the trailer for this movie was meant to promote some live action freaking Jungle Run game, but the only reason why I saw the movie in the first place is because it was either that or The Mandalorian, and I was not watching 10 hours of Baby Yoda crawling on the floor. So I decided to give Masters of the Universe a watch, and I went into the cinema completely blind, not knowing who any of these characters were, let alone what the movie was going to be about. And oh my god, I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. Masters of the Universe is an extremely fun film, and I was not expecting to enjoy the movie as much as I did. This movie is not only action-packed, but it really got me into the He-Man franchise, which I was not expecting. Like I mentioned before, He-Man just seemed really boring to me as a kid, and I didn't grow up with anything related to it outside of one meme, and that was literally about it. And yet, due to this movie being so freaking awesome, I ended up giving the original cartoon a watch, and I really liked it. And I got even more baffled by my liking towards this movie, because around 60% of the people who have seen the movie are either calling it woke Hollywood slop, or saying that the best character in the movie, who I'll be talking about further on in this review, is like the pinnacle of toxic masculinity or something, which I personally don't understand like at all. I didn't find anything woke about the movie, besides He-Man having like pronouns on his desk when he's working in human resources, and I guess like one pronoun joke and a few harmless race swaps, but that was literally about it. But I'm not really gonna get too into that in this review, because honestly, I don't really care much about the allegations against this movie. I just kind of want to talk about how good the movie is. The first thing I want to say about this movie, and probably what is one of my favorite things about this movie, is how action-packed it is. Oh my god. The characters in this movie aren't fighting 24/7, but when they do fight, Jesus Christ, in my opinion, it looks amazing. The amount of excitement I got out of the fight scenes in this movie was just insane. The action scenes and the fight scenes in this movie did not have to go so hard, but they did, and I couldn't be happier. The fight scenes and action scenes in this movie are just really fun. Characters getting thrown left and right, people getting kicked down. The action never stops in these scenes, and yet it's not overstimulating and doesn't hurt your brain. I specifically love fight scenes like when Man-at-Arms fights, like, I think his name is Trapjaw or something, just whatever the hell this thing is meant to be. And also the final battle that Skeletor and He-Man have. Like, god, there are just some shot types in these scenes that just, god, they're freaking perfect. And even small things in these scenes, like the purple energy beaming from Skeletor's staff, or this one scene where while Man-at-Arms is backing away, he's getting his weapons ready. It's just so good for no reason at all. I also cared way more about the characters in this movie than I thought I was going to. And I especially loved what the movie decided to do with characters like Man-at-Arms and He-Man. I love how He-Man in the movie is allowed to be empathetic, vulnerable, and is just allowed to have moments where he cries, he feels sad, but they don't turn him into a complete baby and a wuss, and they still allow him to be like strong and just in general be like a really cool character. He aura farms for like 80% of the movie, especially in the scene where he activates the Sword of Power and he freaking gets butt naked and then proceeds to like beat the crap out of everybody for like the rest of the movie. I also like what they did with Man-at-Arms and how they had him start off as an iconic hero only to become depressed and dealing with severe alcoholism due to the guilt of him not defeating Trapjaw, and then further on in the movie he just stops being an alcoholic and gains the strength to become a hero again. I really loved his journey of redemption and him having to overcome his burden of guilt. It was genuinely interesting seeing him start off as a hero, become a homeless man, and then go back to being a hero again. I also liked Teela a lot. I liked her dynamic with He-Man, and I was also pleasantly surprised that her and He-Man didn't become love interests by the end of the movie. I was completely expecting Teela after that friend zoning scene to like fall in love with He-Man near the end of the movie, but she kind of didn't, I guess. And honestly, I do just really like them as friends. I also saw this character not necessarily getting hated on, but not really being a favorite amongst most people, and that was like the robot girl in this movie. I personally really liked her. I love her personality, and there's something about her voice that I also really like. She was personally my second favorite character in the movie, and I really enjoyed her dynamic with Man-at-Arms. She also made me hate Trapjaw a lot because he literally makes her explode. Characters like Evil-Lyn and Battle Cat, although they didn't get much screen time, were also really fun characters, and just all of the characters in this movie were great. Characters like Battle Cat were voice acted really well. All the actors in this movie did a fantastic job, especially the actor for He-Man. There were just some scenes where I had to remind myself that he was acting. I think specifically in scenes like where he's crying because his dad dies, and also the scene where he reunites with characters like Fisto and Ram Man after living on Earth for like 15 years and then gets locked up, and he realizes that the homeless guy who's also in their cell is Man-at-Arms, and there's this moment of realization for him when he just says, "Duncan? Oh my god, is that you?" And just the way that he says it, in my opinion, just feels like it holds so much emotion, and it felt like genuine. The costuming for the characters also was like super great. I like how the characters wear clothes that are really similar to their cartoon counterparts, but they're stylized and they're changed in a way that is just perfect for like this modernized version of He-Man. Just everybody who was in this movie was fantastic. All the characters were fantastic. But by far, the best character in this entire movie, in my opinion, is Skeletor. Oh my god, I have never loved a character so much in my life. Skeletor is a masterpiece in this movie. All the changes made to his design are incredible. Just everything about him. When you look at him, you can just tell he's meant to be this evil tyrant who's power hungry, manipulative. He has no backstory that explains why he's such a psycho. He just likes to be evil. Like, I just love all the design choices made for this man. From the tiny red glow in his eyes that fades to show that he's blinking, all the way to how expressive his face is despite being a skull. It's genuinely awesome, and the performance that Jared Leto had for him was just phenomenal. He's a really cool character, and I can't really tell if Jared Leto is wearing a costume or Skeletor was brought to life with CGI, but whatever needed to happen to bring him into this movie, I'm thankful for it. I also saw a lot of people saying that like Skeletor was meant to be like the pinnacle of toxic masculinity, and I don't understand that like at all. I don't think Skeletor is like the pinnacle of toxic masculinity. I just think he's a really evil guy that needs to stop killing people. Hey, so this is future Puppy Kisses editing the video. Apparently, the writers and directors behind the Masters of the Universe movie actually confirmed that Skeletor is meant to be the pinnacle of toxic masculinity, which is just, oh my god. So, talk about not doing your research before you make a video. I did not know that, and honestly, now I see why so many people are calling this movie woke and getting mad at the writers and the directors for what they did to Skeletor. I was severely uneducated, and I am super duper sorry about that. But I will say, even though the decision to make Skeletor the manifestation of toxic masculinity for literally no reason, and have his character spread a message to the audience that nobody asked for, I still really like his character, and that actually leads into another positive thing I have to say about this film. Even if this film does have woke pronoun jokes in it, or makes some odd decisions with some of its characters, you're still able to enjoy the film. The messaging for Skeletor's character doesn't put you in a chokehold, and it isn't the only thing that you care about when it comes to his character either. I'm still able to really like Skeletor. None of the opinions I've had on him so far have changed, even if he's meant to be the literal manifestation of toxic masculinity. And I also don't give a crap about the pronoun joke made near the end of the film, or He-Man having pronouns on his desk. Although the film definitely has messaging in it, it doesn't feel like those messages are always being forced down your throat, unlike other quote-unquote woke pieces of media. The film genuinely manages to be fun, and I really appreciate it for that. Anyways, back to the video. He definitely is toxic, but I don't think that's related to his masculinity. I think that's just related to how he treats Evelyn. I also thought Skeletor was like really hot, but we're not gonna talk about that. After giving the movie a second watch, I also realized that there were some like pacing issues. The movie does kind of take like 16 million years for the plot to get going and for He-Man and his friends to start like their main adventure. The movie just kind of shows him struggling to fit in on Earth and shows how Skeletor like kidnapped his parents, I guess. But honestly, I didn't really mind it because the start of the movie was like really entertaining. It had some good jokes, some fun action scenes, and it served as a good scene that introduced us to like his home, Eternia. I didn't really mind the fact that this movie took like 6 million years to get the plot going. But what I do mind, and the main thing I will have to admit I did not like about this movie, is its comedy. At the start of the movie, the comedy was pretty alright. The jokes were really funny. Adam finding out that his sword is in like a comic book store and then trying to get it off this giant statue was really funny. But further on in the movie, the jokes felt less natural and more like they were like invading scenes. And it really became a problem for me when Skeletor started making jokes. Skeletor, like I mentioned before, is one of my favorite characters in this movie, and his performance genuinely left me feeling super intimidated by his character. And he did some very evil things in this movie. He killed this Grinch looking guy as an intimidation tactic so we could force the resistance leaders to tell him who has the sword of power. And there are just a buttload of scenes where he just does like terrible things in this movie, and yet it is always interrupted by some awkward joke. Like, I didn't really mind it that much at the start of the movie, but further on, the more it happened, the more it pissed me off. Like, Skeletor will literally kill somebody, you know, evaporate them, and everybody will be, like, scared of him. And then he'll just stand there awkwardly and do nothing, and it'll be played off as like some funny joke because like, oh, he doesn't know what to do now, but like he literally just killed somebody. There's nothing funny about that. Like, what's the joke? He killed somebody and now he doesn't know what to do? That's not freaking funny.
Not funny. Dick
Like, just for 90% of the movie, I was silently begging for, like, serious scenes or just any scene involving Skeletor to be interrupted by some, like, awkward joke. And then they freaking start making jokes and I'd be like, oh my god. And honestly, the amount of awkward jokes that invaded serious scenes in this movie did kind of ruin my enjoyment for the film. Other than that, I thought that the film was really fun. It had a lot of likable characters. Everybody did an amazing job at bringing these characters to life, whether that be from their costuming all the way down to the performances the actors gave the characters that they were playing. The CGI and special effects were alright, the action scenes were freaking amazing, and if you're looking for a fun, action-packed film that takes the iconic He-Man series and turns it into a fun, feature-length film that even if you're not into the original He-Man cartoon, you can still find enjoyment out of, I really, really recommend this movie. This movie is great. If you've seen it already, I recommend that you give it a second watch, and the reason why I say that is because apparently this movie is flopping, despite it being a genuinely good film in my opinion. This is literally the Transformers 1 situation all over again, and it makes even more sense for why this movie is flopping like Transformers 1, because this film is also made by Mattel. For some reason, the people behind this movie thought it was a genuinely good idea to release it when literally every other movie was coming out at that time. Instead of letting it have just another month before it comes out, so it has a higher chance of, people actually watching it instead of going to see Obsession or The Backrooms. And that actually sucks because I don't want this movie to flop. I want to see a second Masters of the Universe movie, and honestly, with the way that things are looking for this movie regarding its earnings at the box office, I don't think we're getting that sequel. Unfortunately, I can't do much to save this film at the box office other than literally yapping about how good the movie is, and I doubt that that's even going to get like one butt in a seat to see this movie, but it's just super tragic. Also, by the way, sorry if this review kind of sucked. I like to do plot analyses in my videos similar to content creators like Dumbsville, and I literally had to scrap my whole plot analysis because I realized it was weird to just spoil everything that the movie's about, even though it just came out recently. I also still want people to see the film and want to get this video out as quickly as possible. I'm also sorry if I didn't talk much about why this film is good outside of the CGI, special effects, characters, and a few issues I had with the movie here and there. I've come to the realization that although I really, really want to become a movie reviewer, there is a lot that I need to learn, and this video is pretty rushed, so if you thought this video was kind of lacking in my opinions, I'm super sorry about that. Overall, I give the Masters of the Universe movie 8.9 Swords of Powers out of 10. This movie was pretty good, I had a lot of fun watching it, and I really, really hope that this video gets at least more than 100 views and people go see this movie. Anyways, Kanye West Sigma Balls. That's Japanese for see you all next time, by the way.
My dad passed away from cancer. Cool.